Hi everybody and welcome. My name is Stuart Haden, founder of Storm Beach, where I am today, specialising in authentic leadership. I'm going to read from my book today because I keep myself busy as a speaker, consultant, facilitator and coach, but also as an author of my first book, It's Not About the Coach. And I'm going to read from chapter 6, which is around questions. I was with a group yesterday and asked them, I introduced some of the concepts of the book. It's a leadership program and kind of day 1 of 9 really over the next sort of 9 months, and we introduced some of the concepts of the book because fundamentally they're going to be coached and learn and be challenged throughout the program. So it's important they get a sense of who they are and who they're being as a coachee. So I asked them with a bit of help and a bit of prep to brainstorm and think of what are probably the top 9 aspects of being a coachee, because the book focuses on the top 9 aspects of 9 chapters. And in different words and different languages and different explanations, they basically came up with 8 out of 9. You know, because you know what these things are. You know it's about being authentic. You know it's about emotions. You know it's about change, goals, all that good stuff. But of course the book gives more precision and more depth and more advice. But it was interesting, they got 8 out of 9 and they didn't get this one area. They didn't get the fact that it was about questions. And quite rightly really, because so many of them said, well, you know, in university, college, school, it wasn't about questions, it was about answers. It was just knowledge-led. You know, if the teacher said to me, what's the answer? I couldn't turn around and say, well, what's the deeper question? Who am I? Who am I being? It wasn't like that, but coaching is reflecting more about being a questioning approach. So let's have a look at it in a bit more detail. So I'm going to read from chapter 6, questions. The purpose of working with a coach is ultimately to hold questions and create a new freedom, one in which individuals are able to act on a new idea, to take on a new challenge, and to find a new courage to experiment and even fail. In fact, a new freedom to be fully expressed. Through the process, individuals commit to the actions and next steps they need to take to turn their vision into a reality. Therefore, you will need to develop increased accountability and a delegated model of managing. We hold the question, nothing more, nothing less. We search out answers and we wait for them to arrive. Playful. That is life, and since coaching is part of life, then this, by definition, is coaching. That is the choice we have made. Teams, leadership and coaching rolling into one. So there we have it. Fairly self-explanatory really, but just remember, coaching relies on questions, relies on the coach asking you questions, but you as coachee responding to those questions. And the whole idea behind the book really is to get you to a point where you're self-coaching. So your coach is going to be there forever to get you to the point where you're asking questions of yourself. And that's sustainable, and that's what I really promote in terms of coaching. That, you know, when I exit as a coach, the coachee has a plan. They can start asking and formulating and deciding and thinking about questions themselves, which I had to do initially. But towards the end of the coaching, and certainly when we parted company for the time being, they can do that themselves. So it's vitally important. And of course, the next step is once you've got into that habit of asking yourself questions and just being curious and challenging, and tapping into what's important to you. Then you can also ask questions about other people, so you can apply that to others. So, why aren't I behaving in this way? Might be a question for you. And once you've kind of sussed that out and formulated that and reflected on that, then you can say, well, why aren't the team doing this as well? Or why is she doing that so expertly and he isn't and I'm somewhere in between? So just have those great questions. And the book presents 3 great questions, so I'll reiterate them. First part of the book is about possibilities, which is around what is your story. So what is your story? You are the author. What do you want to create? So what's your story? Second question of 3 is how do you know what you know? It's one of my favourite questions. And when a coach says to me, oh, I don't think my boss will do that. Well, how do you know that? Well, in the past they haven't done it. Well, how do you really know that? Because the present moment, as I referred to in that reading, might be different. So how do you know what you know? And the final question, which is the real meta, overarching, great big question, is who are you being? So who are you being as coachee? Who are you being in terms of the goals that you presented or the performance areas that you're working on? Okay? So I know we're a teleholic society. I know a lot of our education has probably been about the answer, and in some cases it has to be because it is knowledge-led, but we really have to focus on responding and asking questions in coaching.